are now back as we promised for the toss update, and it's a pretty interesting update really when you think about it for two particular reasons. One, Sri Lanka have gone against what we talk about being conventional wisdom. They've chosen to bat first at Lucknow against Australia, which when you think about it does make sense considering what happened the last time
game
that Lucknow played host to a match. It was because Australia were put in, or rather chose to bat second, ended up losing by a pretty heavy margin. The second big news, if you're a Sri Lankan fan, no Matisha Patirana.
It's a bit of a surprise, but maybe, all that talk with, coach of Mahendra Singh Dhoni doing the rounds that, you should only play him in T20Is, don't overexpose him, he's too young. Perhaps all of those things have made a difference also. Pathirana wasn't quite able to make the kind of impact in those first two games that he played.
Exactly.
And there was a lot riding on him, by the way, for a youngster to be leading the pace bowling attack, by the way, was, big ask from somebody like him, so young, still so new to the frontiers of international cricket. So he's been taken out. In comes Lahiru Kumara, and the other change is a rather forced change, and that's a change in leadership as well, because Dasun Shanaka, because of a thigh injury that he suffered in the previous match between the two sides, in the previous match, beg your pardon, that Sri Lanka played, suffered a thigh injury. He's been out now, he's out of the side. In comes Kusal Mendes as the skipper. He was already there, Kusal Mendes, but now he has been told to lead the side in the absence of Dasun Shanaka.
That could be a bit of a, I don't know whether to call it a blessing or a curse.
And in comes, by the way, Chamika.
Chamika Karnaratne, who was named he had been flown in as an emergency cover for Dasun Shanaka, and well, now is in fact replacing him. But the key thing worth noting is that I think the skipper, Kusal Mendes, again, good captain, and I think Dasun Shanaka has unfortunately been under fire, not just for his leadership, but form had really fallen off a cliff. There's no two ways about that. So, bit of a blessing and a curse really if you're looking at it from Sri Lanka's perspective. Yes, they probably don't have a better finisher than Dasun, but his form was woeful.
But even when I look at the Sri Lankan side, and that's been the takeaway as far as Sri Lanka go in this particular World Cup campaign, their bowling comes across as the weak link. You look at both the matches, I think runs weren't really a problem. Even in fact, after they conceded 428, a record 428 that they conceded here in the national capital against South Africa. That firstly told you a lot about the bowling side. In the second match that they played as well, again it was the bowling. That was against Pakistan. I remember that they played again, conceding a lot of runs. So batting looks sorted for now. They're giving you runs, but it's the bowling which comes across as the weak link right now. And even though there's a change now, I don't see a lot changing, if you ask me.
See, the only thing I will say is that their bowling is very, that's a condition specific. Give them the right conditions, and you know that the likes of Asalanka, De Silva, and of course Wellalage and Tikshana are going to be effective. They haven't got those conditions yet.
But where would you get those conditions? Perhaps just Chennai. I can't think of a second venue where they...
look at how Delhi was playing last night. You might just... And in fact, Lucknow also, you'd remember, I wouldn't call it... I know they relayed the strip and everything, but it's become more sporting. I don't think it's become batter friendly. And according to what Kusal Mendes had said at the toss, he's saying we're expecting it to spin in the second half, which is why they've gone on to bat first. I said, no, we think it's going to turn. If that happens, then this bowling lineup comes into play.
It does come into play. But again, I'm still not too sure of what to expect from the Kana, because again, you've only seen one game.
Match.
And let's just look at Delhi, let's say for that matter. Two games that Delhi has hosted as of now. You saw 428, and then you didn't see that bigger total the other day, or yesterday rather, where you saw 273 also being a competitive total. How many?
It was 280.
284 a competitive total as well. So again, and that strip, by the way, played very differently yesterday as compared to that match that you saw between South Africa and Sri Lanka.
And even for that matter, India-Afghanistan.
And for that matter, India-Afghanistan
so
as well.
Also, if we're looking at playing 11s, Australia, no surprise, named an unchanged 11. Although I do think they could make a couple of changes, but I think, they're waiting for, let's say, the fitness of certain players. One player whose fitness they're sweating on right now, Travis Head.
But good news for them, I was reading about this, the fact that, he was wearing some protective gear as well. That's come off. He is expected to be flown in on Thursday.
Yeah.
So later this week in the second half, let's say you're going to be expecting Travis Head join the team. Pakistan, I think, is who they play next, Australia, and that game happens on Friday.
Yeah.
May not be available, Travis.
No. In fact, we did I remember doing this a shot up in Sports Today. I think the target they have right now is 25th.
Exactly.
Which
So
is the Netherlands match.
He may not be available for that
Oh,
match.
for this
and he won't
week,
be,
yeah. No.
because he's only flying in on Thursday, so you don't expect him to take part in the game the subsequent day, which is against Pakistan. I think in Chennai, or is it Bangalore?
I don't remember where it is exactly.
I think Bangalore.
Yeah, it could
be
very
wrong.
well be Bangalore.
Could
but
be.
Yeah, venues are remembering are a bit of a issue.
Yeah.
Any which way, I think the match is about to start. So I think definitely a key match, must-win game for Australia. But we have seen one giant slaying take place last night. Could we be seeing another one?
It won't come across as that big a surprise as the result of yesterday's game
that's
was.
true.
But again, Australia are under the pump, let's not forget. They were looked at as challengers, they were looked at as the formidables. In fact,
And some people consider them the favourites.
absolutely, for them to have lost their first two games, again, they really
Comprehensively. It's not just the fact that they lost.
I mean, times didn't cross the 200 mark.
Exactly. I mean, I'd understand if you have your first two games against India and South Africa and you lose them. But this team looked devoid of ideas.
Yeah.
And the key players look woefully out of form. So, definitely a big game, must-win match for them, considering if they lose the first three, then you're facing six must-win.
I think I was reading about it somewhere. I think all the times that Australia, beg your pardon, which I think was 79 to begin with, 79 and 75, I think. The times that they lost the first two matches of the World Cup campaign, they never made it past the group stage.
So the weight of history also up against this Australian side. Definitely a key spell coming for them. Can they win? I mean, we'll find that out soon enough. But join us. We'll be bringing you all of the updates from that and plenty more happening, through the day from the world of sports. So for now, we'll take your leave. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Please don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and tap that bell. For now, though, it's bye-bye.